We are at Trakai Island Castle, Lithuania. We just reached the parking lot, and this is where the walking begins. Kashmira and I always joke that half of European travel is figuring out how far the parking lot actually is from the thing you came to see. Here it's a good stretch, through the streets of Trakai itself. Wooden houses painted in soft yellows and blues, on either side, the kind of town that looks like it hasn't rushed anywhere in centuries. Red brick's castle rises straight out of the water, like it grew there instead of being built. This is Trakai Island Castle, and the story behind it is worth knowing before you even step foot on it. Construction started back in the second half of the 14th century, ordered by Grand Duke Kęstutis. His son, Vytautas the Great, finished the major work around 1409, and he actually died inside these walls in 1430. This wasn't a decoration. This was the political heart of the Grand Duchy of Lithuania, one of the most powerful states in the region at the time, and it's sometimes even called Little Marienburg because of how closely its brick Gothic style echoes that famous castle in Poland. What gets me every time I visit a place like this is how much water has to do with power. This castle sits on an island in Lake Galvė for a reason you can't sneak up on it. Surrounded on all sides, reachable only by water back then. That's not an accident. That's centuries of somebody thinking very carefully about how to stay alive. And here's a detail that surprised me. When this castle was built, the water level in this lake was actually about 2 meters higher than it is today. So what we're looking at now sat even deeper in the lake back then. The lake itself has over 20 islands scattered across it, and gliding through it by boat is honestly the best way to understand the scale of what these Grand Dukes were protecting. You start to see the castle from angles you'd never get standing on land. The towers, the walls, the way the whole structure seems to float. What's remarkable is that this castle was never actually taken by an enemy, it held. But it didn't survive time and neglect quite as well. By the 17th century it had fallen into disrepair, and it sat in ruins for centuries. It was only rebuilt in the mid-1900s, largely through Lithuanian effort, at a time when Soviet authorities weren't exactly enthusiastic about the project. What we're looking at right now, floating on this lake, is a castle that Lithuania quite literally fought to bring back. And here's something most visitors never even notice unless someone points it out to them. That distinctive white neoclassical palace visible across Lake Galvė is Užutrakis Manor, Užutrakių dvaras. Completely different era, completely different story. This one was built at the very end of the 19th century by a Polish count named Józef Tyszkiewicz as a summer residence for his family. Snow White, sitting quietly across the water from a 500-year-old fortress. Two completely different Lithuanias, visible in the same frame, the medieval Grand Duchy on one shore, European aristocracy on the other. That's the kind of detail I love finding in a place. You came for the castle, and the lake hands you a second story for free. Now we cross in on foot, a long wooden bridge that's really the only respectful way to arrive here. No cars, no shortcuts. You walk in the way people have walked in for generations, and there's something in that pace that makes you slow down mentally too. Along the way into the old town, the market stalls starts showing up. Amber jewelry, this region's specialty, along with local crafts, and if you're lucky, kibinai, the pastries this whole area is known for. Fair warning for anyone traveling with dietary restrictions like we do, traditional kibinai are usually meat-filled, but some stalls here do offer vegetable versions, so it's worth asking before you assume. And then finally, the castle itself, up close, the gatehouse, the courtyard, the ducal palace where Vytautas himself once walked. Inside now is a museum, filled with archaeological finds and pieces of armor that tell you exactly what life here looked like 6 centuries ago. What strikes me standing inside isn't just the history. It's that this whole thing was nearly lost. And someone, generations after these walls were abandoned, decided this story was worth saving. Standing here, I think you'd agree they were right. Walking back to that same parking lot, the castle behind us now, I found myself thinking about how strange it is that stone outlasts empires. Kęstutis is gone, Vytautas is gone, every soldier who ever stood on those walls is gone. And yet the walls are still standing, still catching the evening light on the lake. Now we are heading back to the parking lot where our tour bus is. Thanks for watching. If you like this video from me, please like, subscribe, share and comment. Thanks.